Welcome to VIP Sports. This is Michael and Jim. We're going to talk about the AFC West going on today. Jim, how are you doing today?
Wonderful. Perhaps even resplendent.
Well, that's great. So we're starting off with the AFC West. I got Oakland Raiders, and the reason why I have them is they're almost at the tipping point of being good, but they have a lot of injuries. They have a very drama wide receiver. Everyone's heard about what's going on with the helmet issue. Will he play? Will he not play? You know, and also this is the last year playing in Oakland until they move to Las Vegas next year. Jim, how do you see them coming off?
I've got them in last place in the AFC West. I just look at the most difficult schedule in the league. I mean, the playoff teams them boys are facing this year is just unbelievable. And you know they lost Jordy Nelson, tight end Jared Cook, safety Marcus Gilchrist, Marshawn Lynch, offensive tackle Donald Penn. So we've got some rebuilding to do, but I do like some of the add-ons. You know, they brought in Trent Brown, Brandon Marshall. They brought in safeties. You know, LaMarcus Joyner, brought in Vontez Burfict, and then they drafted the kid Majors in the first round there, or first round out of Alabama. Then they drafted the edge rusher from Clemson and Farrell. So, but I just don't think they're going to get there yet. I think the schedule's too tough for them.
And they also have an injury. They're starting running back. He's on the IR, so they don't have to go up with Jaden Richard. Like he had one touchdown, 259 yards, and 55 touches. So, you know, running back is going to be a hard position because they've just lost so much talent in that field. Yeah. And then Johnny Green in the second year, you never know what he can do. You never know what might come out of him this year. You know, and you got Derek Carr, and hopefully maybe AB, they can work together, but I haven't really seen much of AB because of the helmet and other issues of him. It's a circus of what's going on with him. Yeah,
they, bringing in Richie Incognito, that let me know immediately that they're going to try some power running game. You know, the big running back, you know, from Alabama, they're going to try to hammer some people. They're going to try to be physical, you know. And I know with Mike Mayock being their general manager, he likes physicality. So, bringing in Incognito and drafting the kid from Clemson, they're going to be a physical team, but I just think they're too far away.
You know, and to move on with the AFC West, I'm looking at the Denver Broncos. I'm going to talk about the positives, and then I got the negatives. Positive is Emmanuel Sanders is coming back healthy after ACL injury. They brought in Joe Flacco from the Ravens. He's kind of rebuilding to make him look better, make him prove that he belongs in the NFL. The negative is they had no tight end. Their tight end that they drafted last year is still hurt. Their player they drafted for this year is hurt again. So we have no tight end. We got Von Miller. He's back healthy, stronger than ever. But I just seen him do 6-10, and I'm a diehard Bronco fan, and I'm just not seeing it this year. I mean, how do you see who do you have coming up after that?
Well, I just look at them. I think they got the second hardest schedule in the league. They got 7 games against 10-win teams from last year. Lots of injuries. Like some of the additions, I really liked when they brought in Mike Munchak as their offensive line coach. He is a Hall of Fame player. He is a great a builder of offensive lines. You know, and they went in and they brought in Juwan Jones. They've brought in Kareem Jackson and Bryce Callahan, and of course, you know, the aforementioned Flacco. So they brought in some veterans because they're not trying to just throw it all in the future. You know, bringing in that kid Flacco, they're going to try to win now, but I just don't think they'll be able to get past 6-10. What I see.
And also, I've been hearing that, you know, everyone is putting the heat on John Elway, that this could be the make or break for John Elway because next year Pat Bowlen's family is going to be more of the day-to-day operations of the team. And, you know, with them starting to get the ownership, you never know what's going to happen with, you know, who they keep.
Also, the getting back to the Broncos, you said they're a little restless there. You know, with Elway. To me, it goes back to the quarterbacks. I mean, if the kid from Missouri doesn't, if Locke doesn't pan out next year, they're going to be calling for Elway's head. It's going to be, what have you done for me lately?
And he's also on the injury list too.
Yeah.
Right now too. So, backup quarterback if Flacco got hurt is really limited. Also, the third team I got is the Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay.
They came off a really good playoff run last year. They stocked up on their defense. Now, they do have the running back that is on a holdout. He's kind of like the AFC version of Ezekiel Elliott. He wants to be paid. He still has 2 years left, just like Zeke. But it's more that the AFC offseason issue. Phillip Rivers is coming off a great year. He's also a free agent at the end of the year. So this is going to be a very do or die for the Chargers. This is the last year playing in that soccer stadium that they built for them until they move into a new stadium next year. What do you see? Who do you have?
I have the Chiefs at number 2 in the division. I just think their defense is going to be worse. Mahomes threw 50 touchdowns last year. You look at the guys that have thrown 50 touchdowns in a season. The next year, typically, they only throw about 35. I mean, they lost Justin Houston. They lost D Ford. That's their pass rush. They lost their center, Mitch Morse. They lost Eric Berry, but he was never around anyway. He was hurt. But they also lost their other safety, Steve Nelson. They lost Eric Murray. They lost Orlando Skadrick, and they lost Kareem Hunt. So those are some key losses there on a team that, I think they're trying to redo their identity because I think they're going to try to run a 4-3 instead of a 3-4. They're bringing in Frank Clark from Seattle, great player. They're bringing in Tyrone Matthew to play safety. They brought Rashad Breeland in to play corner. They've got Alex Okafor at the other end they brought in. They also brought in Emmanuel Ogba, and then they brought in Carlos Hyde and Darren Lee. So they're trying to redo their defense in 1 year, and I just don't think they're going to be as dynamic as they were. I mean,
now, do you think the Madden curse could also hurt him? As the Madden curse is hurt, he's on the cover. Everyone says, "Oh, the Madden curse, always hurts that starter." Do you think that is?
No, my thing is, I just think Chargers are the most talented team in the league. I think they have more depth than any team in the league. Now, they might not have all the superstars, the household names that some of these teams have, but when you look at them, just flat out talent, I think they're the most talented team in the league, and that's why I had them in first place. And obviously, by this, it means you have the Chiefs in first place.
I do have the Chiefs. So tell me a little bit more about your pick for the Chargers. Why are you picking them?
Schedule's favorable. I mean, their depth is good. Got a winner at quarterback. They're just no nonsense. Everybody keeps talking about the running back holding out. Well, he's never healthy. Why would I pay a guy that's never been healthy? No, I'm not going to pay him. I mean, and with running backs being devalued right now in the league, I think they could still. I think the Chargers could still win that division because just the strength of their defense, and they can win shootouts. But with Joey Bosa and guys like that can get after the pass rusher. So I'm a big Chargers fan.
Do you think Phil Rivers will be the MVP? Do you think? Do you think he has a strong case in this year with the talent they have? And the schedule, do you think he'll do better than he did last year? You see him go deeper into the playoffs?
I would love to see him go make a deeper run. I love seeing those playoff games out in sunny California when it's all cold over here in the Midwest. I'd like to see maybe the Chiefs or the Patriots go out there and play. I love the weather out there. Like I said, I'm just a favorable that defense, that offense. I just think they are a well-rounded, solid team. I think, barring injury to their quarterback, they have the depth to go pretty far. They can sustain some injuries here and there and still be a formidable foe.
So I do have the Chiefs, and the reason why is I believe in the offense because they're scoring 50 touchdowns. You never know what he can do the next year, and that's why I'm really excited. He's the Holmes is a very talented quarterback. He's proven it in college. He's proven it in the NFL. This will be a very ideal season for him to prove even more that he is the talent that he deserves.
Yeah, I don't think he's throwing for no 50 touchdowns again. Because that's never happened, and I just don't think it's going to. I mean, Andy Reid, he loves to chunk the ball a lot, but I still just don't see him being able to do that.
And one thing I did notice about the Kansas City Chiefs last year is they depended on their offense stronger than they did on their defense. Like the defense would give up a touchdown or a field goal, and they would give the pressure to the Chiefs, and they lost very lost key games, and they also won by a slim margin. But if the defense would have stepped up, they would have had a better outcome and less pressure for their offensive line, their quarterback, and so on. So in return, we got the Raiders, Broncos. You had the Chiefs. I had the Chargers, and was kind of flip-flopped. Mm-hmm. So how do you see the AFC? Do you see it as a dominant force in the NFL season?
AFC, you mean the AFC
West? Yes.
Yeah, I certainly see it. I mean, when you have two teams that can put up the points that those two teams can put up, I like them, but they're right there together. But to me, the Chargers' defense is better than the Chiefs' defense, and I think the Chargers can score enough to beat people. And like I said, I just don't think you're going to see Mahomes throw for 50 touchdowns again. So, the Chargers, they didn't really lose all that much. They lost Corey Liggett and Antonio Gates. Father Time finally got him. But they're just solid, man. I just like their talent. I mean, you heard Gil Brandt say that they were the most talented team, most talented roster in the NFL. So I agree with the Godfather.
It'll be interesting to see how the AFC West does this year. I'm excited that we're not that far away from football season actually starting.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. We got football. We got you guys covered on the NFL coverage and previews. Please stay tuned.